10 powerful countries which were never ruled by British. Saudi Arabia. During the 16th century, the Ottoman Empire expanded control over the majority of Saudi Arabia, and then it remained powerful till 1918. Throughout this period, the Saudi royal family started fighting for control of the country. This political movement corresponded with World War I, where the British were fighting against the Ottoman Empire. Just to weaken the empire, Britain offered support for a pan-Arab revolt. At last, the empire lost control of Saudi Arabia, leaving the United Arab State behind. Iran. Both Russian and British rulers were equally interested in taking over Iran. Russia was successful in ruling over some of the northern areas of the empire. During the 19th century, the British rulers succeed in gaining the eastern part of Iraq. Iraq was ruled by the Qajar dynasty at that period. He had borrowed money from the European banks and he was unsuccessful in the act of repayment. This gave the British rulers a golden chance to pounce over the Iraq Empire. British rulers and Russian rulers made a deal that they would share and control the revenues from various revenues. The Iraq Empire did not agree to this, so they officially could never take control over Iraq. Japan. The Japanese government created a strong influential presence, and so they were able to stand firm against the British rulers. They begin with the Meiji Restoration in the year 1868. During World War I, the Qing China successfully defeated them because of the social and political reforms they made. In the year 1905, even the Russians tried to conquer Japan, but they could not succeed. During the World War II, Japan used the advantage of invading Manchuria and Korea and added more powers to their colonial powers. Korea. Korea chose to be ruled by the Japanese government rather than the British government. It was ruled by the Asian powers. It was a branch state of Qing China till 1805. After Japan won the First Sino-Japanese War, Korea became the official Japanese colony in the year 1910. This happened after Korea avoided to be ruled under the British invaders. Thailand. At the time of the 19th century, Thailand was called the Kingdom of Siam. The Thailand kingdom was linked by French-ruled Indochina and British-ruled Burma. Though the King Chulalongkorn of Siam adopted few customs of Europeans and gave quite an interest in its technology too. Despite all of this, the king was smart enough to prevent his majority of the kingdom through his diplomatic efforts. China. The Chinese Empire was very vast. Its size actually is an advantage for them. Britain and France rulers, rather than gain profits by invading the country, they decided to power over China through its imports and exports. During the First and Second Opium conflicts from 1839 to 1842 and from 1856 to 1860, France and Britain enjoyed the status of being favored nations. Thus even the US, Italy and Russia wanted the same favor after France and Britain, and so nobody could rule China. Afghanistan. Both Britain and France had their eyes stuck on Afghanistan. During the First Anglo-Afghan War in the year 1839, the Afghan force conquered the British forces. The British were not among those who would easily give up, so they again during the Second Anglo-Afghan War tried to conquer Afghanistan but failed. This war lasted from 1878 to 1880. Nepal. The British had bigger troops, so they easily gained control over 30% of the territory of Nepal. The twist was in the geographical features which worked in favor of Nepal. The British had no choice but to leave Nepal independent. They created a border zone for British India. Bhutan. Just like Nepal, even Bhutan falls in the Himalayan region, and it becomes difficult to invade this place. British Army fought and gained few areas of the territories. Bhutan and British negotiated and agreed on a deal where Bhutan gave 5 horses and control over lodging industries. British rulers took their revenue but did not give their control back until 1947 after India won their independence. Ethiopia. 90% of Africa was colonized by the European territory. The emperor wrote to the Queen Victoria correspondence, but the Queen ignored. The emperor got angry and he imprisoned few British subjects, and British had no choice but to conquer Ethiopia, but they failed.